If you're not dealing with Kaye, it ain't the truth.
Welcome to Access Unlock the show. I'm your girl, Kaye TheTruth. In studio today, we have the one, the only Mr. Glasses, Malone himself. What's up,
Hey,
Glasses?
what's happening?
What's happening? I'm just working and relaxing. But you know what? I really love your glasses.
Oh,
Look at you
thank
looking
you.
all studious and stuff. You just educated me on some things in the background, which I really appreciate.
Man, each one teach one, man. You know what I mean? We gotta look out for each other.
Yes, we do. So you have been in the music industry for a long time. Which you debuted, what was it, 2003? Was it some mixtapes or how
Well,
did you come
in the
in?
industry, I've been in the industry since 2008. My single came out certified featuring Akon. So this is my 15th year as a pro.
15 years. What do you contribute your longevity in the music industry to? What made you last so long?
Initially it was just my gifts and ignorance, and that's what I depended on. But as of 2011, I started learning what records were all about, hip hop and marketing. So there is a fire that burns in me that's really unique. You know what I mean? It God saved my life with hip hop, and then I dedicated my life to hip hop for saving my life. And
Okay.
that really is why it's been lasting this long up to this point.
Okay. So everybody talk about how hip hop have saved their life. So what it saved you is the reason, is that one of the reasons you make music, to maybe help save someone else, or
No, I just paint pictures because I'm great at it, and I want people to understand what's going on in street urban culture in Los Angeles. I want them to have a clearer view and a clearer appreciation and an understanding of all the struggles that come from Southern California.
okay. Right now you have three new hot bangers that are out. The Loc, Tyra, what is it, Tyra?
Tora,
Tura. And Kanye should have never married that B.
yeah,
Yo.
yeah.
I gotta talk about the last one first.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
What made you do that joint?
Because Kanye should have never married that bitch. It's really an oldie to Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg's "You Can't Turn a Hoe into a Housewife."
I love
I feel like that message needed to be spoken again. It's like a hip hop commandment that seems to be, that's being broken every day today. And I think because that message is 30 years old or 20 years old, and it's a lot of kids growing up today without that message. And so somebody needed to bring the commandments forward. So I guess that makes me hip hop's Moses at this point.
Yeah. So what you been saying that, which we know Kim makes a lot of money, and Kanye, of course, he has his money too. Do you think a lot of men still graduate gravitate towards her because of her money? Because I don't think she really look all bad. She's okay, but I don't know.
I mean, I think Kim was a beautiful woman. And I don't think she's a unattractive lady now. I think there's some things that make her a little questionable, but she has to be a sweetheart to some degree. She
Right.
knows how to deal with men to some degree. She has a history of understanding it, but I think people look at her like she's popular, and to mainstream she's attractive. She has a social value to people, but that's not going to really help you when you in the situation. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to probably hurt you when you in the situation, because you'll realize why everybody like her, and why she's great at what she does. But she'll always get opportunities, you know what I mean, until she
Right.
probably gets close to her mom's age. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna come for her, and if she don't, she'll have that time to figure it out.
I like to jump all over the place on my show. It kind of make me chuckle when you say close to her mom's age, which I'm going to kind of go to the other side. When you look at social media, they always say that the woman is worn out at a certain age. So when you say close to her mom's age, do you think it's harder for women to find a man when they get older?
I don't think it's harder. Um, I just think the simple things change, but I mean, it's still the same. I mean, you for some reason women feel like they're in their prime between 18 and 35 or something. You know what I mean? And men don't really hit their prime till they pass 30, 35. So I think it's all perspective for women. But I mean, even if you're a good looking woman at 40 years old, you can meet a man that's 55 years old and be the best thing to happen to him outside of unless he can get somebody 25. You know what I'm saying? To
Right.
if you were that shallow in how somebody looks. But I do think there's two standards of beauty, and I think women set their standard ridiculously high. I don't know why they do that to themselves. And as men, we just don't do that. Like, we do get the blessing of understanding we are not judged completely by our looks, but our ability to earn and protect. You know what I'm saying? So the standard of life is different. And I think a lot of times, women could get themselves in weird situations dealing with all kind of probably the type of men they shouldn't be dealing with when they should be finding the right person that's going to take care of them forever. But just an idea.
Right on. So which I'm gonna try to get off the dating in a little bit. So I
I
don't
don't
know if you
mind.
saw last week when you say women set their standards too high, or the last couple of weeks where the lady said the first date to the Cheesecake Factory is a no for her, or was it the Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah,
What
it
do
was
you
Cheesecake
believe?
Factory.
What do you believe is the right amount of money, or is there such a thing as the right amount of money for the first date?
You're probably dating the wrong person if that's the conversation. That's my
Okay.
opinion. I don't think women set their standards too high. I think women set beauty standards too high.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
their standards are just, women just want somebody to provide and protect them. I would like to believe that's pretty much 99% of the women. They want a man that can protect them if something goes bad, and somebody who could take care of them for the rest of their life. I mean, that's not to say I don't think women want to work or take care of themselves or do anything. I just think there's something about that makes a man attractive to women. You know what I mean? Even if you want to get your own, it's nothing like having a guy that got you.
Right
Um,
on.
um, But I think as far as that idea, you know what I mean? I think if a woman is setting that up, is she's looking for a free meal or she's looking for some kind of experience, and that's probably the wrong woman. You need to find a woman that will be happy going with you to the damn library. It's like you got to find a woman who likes you. Sometimes we get caught up chasing women who don't like us versus dealing with the women who like you. And I think that's where it shows that where somebody will say, the cheesecake food is horrible outside of the damn cheesecake. So I wouldn't want to go there because the food is bad. But I mean, I don't believe I would take a woman to Tam's, like, which is a burger stand on the east side of LA. You know what I'm saying? And I've took women to all kind of places and they had the greatest time in the world because they was with me. So I
Right
think
on.
it really comes down to finding people who want to be with you, and it won't matter where y'all at.
Now that I totally agree with. I don't think there is a certain thing, put a number on it. I think it's more about the first date being an experience and also the opportunity so you can sit down and understand the person that you're across from. So I'm with you. And plus for me, if I was taking somebody out on the first date, I want you to have fun and really get to know who I am. So the burger spot across the street would kind of be hot to me. It'd be
Especially if you in
fine.
somebody's community, you know what I'm saying, where they grew up at. I think, it's I was talking to Taylor, who produces the Breakfast Club and the Brilliant Idiot Show, and she was saying, like, it just needs to be, creative. And I'm like, look, I don't think dating is an artistic thing. You know what I mean? I
Right
think
on.
if you really like a man, y'all could walk down the fucking street. You know what I'm saying? And that should be bomb if it's what it's supposed to be. But
Right.
again, we're in a time where everybody is literally using any and everyone for social currency, and they need to post about it, and it needs to have a social currency so they can get likes on their post. And it's really not about the connection you're trying to establish with another human being or the attention that man is paying to you, if it's about where y'all at.
Right on. Okay, cool. Now let's get into your other two joints. Tell us about the other two joints, the Lock and Torre.
So the LOC, right, the
Elope.
LOC, right, is upper echelon Los Angeles street urban culture. Like, I'm like as LA as LA can be when it comes to this street urban culture. And it celebrates that. It's a great chopped up sample with Biggie on there, and it's fun. You know what I mean? Something that is frowned upon like gangbanging. I just made it extra festive and fun for people to enjoy. And it's a really amazing song. Torah is just, the song is about really meeting a woman that loves your sex, you know what I mean, your intimacy. You know what I'm saying? And you just explaining to her she could come get it at any time. And when I was recording the song and I was saying, come get that pussy tore up,
Mm.
you know what I mean? The girls in the studio kept saying that it sounded like I was saying Torah, which is the Hebrew Bible. And I just played with that and I kept it that way. You know what I mean? Like, It's all good. It's all love. You know, this is the city of angels, so it all works together anyway.
So you a gangster and a freak. Okay, we got you.
All gangsters is freaks.
You know, I had to throw that in there about what you said.
All gangsters is freaks.
So that's funny. So you said it has a sample of Biggie in
On
your
the low.
song, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
So how do you think that works with, which, you know, that's old, the Biggie and the Tupac? Is that okay to do?
Yeah, there were two adults. I mean, nobody, you know, two adults arguing on records is just not really important to us. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like they were just adults arguing, selling millions of records, making millions of dollars. It never really went further than that. You know what I'm saying? That even their deaths are probably not to do with their issues as much as what happened to one another. But
Right.
you know, when they was alive, they didn't even so much as pinch each other. So I wouldn't take that as a real beef anyway. I think the media mass produced it. I think Tupac, you know, wanted to compete with, you know, Bad Boy because Bad Boy was uber successful at that time, and he felt like
Right.
Biggie was under his wing, and then Biggie blew up, and you know, he saw an opportunity based off of something Puff wanted to do in the business with marketing, and he took advantage of that moment and created his legacy at the highest level, you know, the way we see it today, you know, the success of All Eyes on Me. So I think it was always business between them. So, you know, we never stopped playing Biggie in LA, just like the East Coast never stopped playing Tupac.
Right on, right on. So with that being said, let's just go on and get into it. What do you think about I'm gonna say this month arrest of Kiefer D?
I'm praying for Keith. Keith is 60 years old. You know, a lot of ideas, you know, are being talked about. I would like to see the discovery. What does the evidence really look like, and how is it going to work out? But I pray the best for him. You know what I mean? Whatever happens, I just want the best for him because he's not a bad dude as much as everybody thinks he is. He's a
Right.
pretty good dude. You know what I mean? And just like every other human being trying to find relevance in this world.
Right on. So when we talk about like the Kiefer D and they talk about people, you know, rappers, artists, or whatever you want to call them, talking too much in videos and songs, do you think that is a problem? Like when they get on
Yeah.
the glad.
It's not a problem long as you okay with being accountable for whatever you said. The problem is when you don't want to be accountable for it after you said it.
Right,
Say
right.
what you want to say, but long as you're willing to deal with what comes with it. That's what this new album is all about. Cancel These Nuts, which those songs are on. It's just this attitude. Cancel These Nuts is that traditional Los Angeles attitude that the world has come to know and love. You know what I mean? That not give a fuck attitude. We're really
Mhm.
fantastic at that. And this is just a recovery of that. You know what I mean? That whole feeling you used to get when you hear, you know, Southern California artists or West Coast artists talk.
How many tracks are off the project?
17 total tracks, 15 songs.
How many? Who's the producers?
One producer, Irvin Pope, EP. Um, EP has Grammys. He played on Kanye West's first 4 or 5 albums. He's a really great keys player, piano. He executive produced the Game's LAX album. He's produced for Scarface on his last 3 albums. He produced singles for Tech Nine over the last 5 years. Just this really, really incredible producer from the same neighborhood in Los Angeles, Watts, that I'm from.
Right on. And you know what? You speak of, you said he also did some things with the game. Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah, he executive produced and made beats for LAX album. And he actually is the orchestrator of the Game's band. He's the conductor of Game's live band when he does concerts.
And
So
you
shout out to
did,
EP.
and you know you did one of the songs I love is I love Gangsta Boogie. It
Oh
was
yeah,
you,
yeah.
Game, and Corrupt. That's
Yeah.
still a banger.
Man, I started my career with Game. So Game is somebody who's really integral in me getting the opportunity and changing my own life in this business. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't get enough credit for helping me change my life. You know, his older brother was like incredibly instrumental in me not being a drug dealer and becoming a rapper, not being
Right
in
on.
prison, not being dead. G Ride, Face, even my older brother Pooh is, you know what I mean? So the Game is and his family is super instrumental in me transitioning out of the street. So that history really goes back.
Right on. But you also mentioned Tech Nine. Didn't you do a project back when with Tech Nine as well?
I've done
Or
a lot of songs with Tech Nine. I was on tour with Tech Nine for 3 different years. he's been instrumental in my career too. Took me all over the country. After Lil Wayne, I went with Lil Wayne first, but
Cash
it's just
Money.
been a hell of a journey.
Right. So when you chose the one producer for your project, because sometimes you hear of two, is that the main reason why you stuck with the producer who is on the project? Or
We just had an unbelievable chemistry. All the watts came out of it, and it just got really, really good. And it didn't, we didn't really need anybody else. And even now, as I get towards, this third quarter of my career as a rapper, what I mean, he'll probably be involved with everything that I'm doing because we have this undeniable chemistry. You know what I mean? He's my original producer is a cat named Guido the Nose from South Central. His name is Gary, DJ GLE. Same person, Guido. He did White Lightning. He was my original producer, and he took an interest and developed me as a record maker, and I owe him my initial success as far as the music itself goes. But I think EP is going to be the reason that I actually excel out of the top of the underground into mainstream success because of what EP does musically.
right on. So you speak of White Lightning, which was a mixtape. White Lightning, what was the Sticks in 2005, and then you
Yeah.
had the Crack mixtape in 2003, right?
Well, the Crack mixtape was Guido's mixtape. It wasn't mine. It was something I just
Okay.
had a couple songs on. My first offering to Los Angeles or to California is White Lightning, and that was in 2005.
Okay. And also you mentioned Lil Wayne. You was signed with Cash Money
That's
back
pretty
then?
much who I was signed with my whole career from 2007 to 2015 before I
Okay.
went independent completely.
So you independent completely? And
Yeah.
we know at one time, or do you still have your oh my goodness, I cannot think. Your movie company, Division Movie Company?
Yes, we're working on the film now to come out in the summer called Fed Up, which is off of one of the songs from the album.
So okay, which is awful. Is so would you say your movie company, will you do a lot of things based on the California lifestyle,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. We're not trying to falsify anybody else's culture. You know what I mean? We know this culture inside out. And there's so much Southern California and Northern California culture, West Coast, Western things for us to share with the world. I don't want to go to anybody else's, region and try to act like I understand what's going on. I'm going to give you the West full fledged, deep, deep, deep into it.
okay. Which we talked about the game and Tech Nine kind of being instrumental in your beginning, not kind of, but instrumental in your music industry. And then we mentioned Lil Wayne. Who right now are top 5 in your music history instrumental life?
That's a great question. I know what you mean when you're saying that. Barry White is number one. Barry White is huge for me right now. Everything that I see going forward, how my album covers, how I want to dress, how I want my music to be presented, how I want my music to be consumed, how I want to do my business is rooted in everything Barry White was. Barry White is the greatest person ever from the east side of Los Angeles in my mind.
Okay.
Second guy is Marvin Gaye. I've been really getting more and more into what Marvin Gaye was able to do musically and what he presented to the world. Third is probably Snoop Dogg, because he's a Crip. And I always love the fact that he never turned his back on the culture and he didn't let everybody in the mainstream tell him what a Crip had to be. He showed everybody what a Crip could be. And
Mm-hmm.
I've never said that before, but it's important that I say that now because I do understand it and I respect it a lot. Four is Birdman. Birdman is like the epitome of what grind is, consistency, work ethic, hustle. And that's like imperative. Five is probably Clive Davis. You know what I mean? I've been really getting more and more into him as an executive and how he was able to play games with everyone. And that would be the five.
That's dope. And I love the way you explain it as well. And when you talk about the hustle and everything, and the grind of California, which was not too far, from us, 2019, Nipsey Hussle, the way he built up the community. Do you feel like you would build up something like that, make a way, or are you already doing something like that? Building your back?
Not like NH. NH had a unique plan, and that's part of who he was, you know what I mean, as a person. He's a really good friend of mine and just a really all-around great dude. I'm sure people have their own experiences, but for me, he was amazing. You know what I mean? Really good dude. I'm definitely doing things in the community, but really outside of that, my whole thing is livable wages for the community for Watts. And I don't know how this is going to look because Watts is being gentrified. So keeping the location on those people and where they're going to be when the gentrification is done is a challenge. So I don't know what that looks like, but those people mean the most to me. You know what I mean? I just don't know how that works, but I do have some ideas. So we'll see what it looks like when it's all said and done.
Already. So let's go back because most people, what you touched on in your top 5 was Clive Davis. What is it that really, which you kind of mentioned a little bit, that you see from Clive Davis?
Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston was a ghetto bitch from Newark.
Yeah, baby Bobby. Yeah, and Whitney. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like forever, and nobody knew that. And he sold her to white people like she was America's darling. That's impossible. Like Barry White and Clive Davis fought for that 5th spot for a long time. And Barry Gordy is still there. But what Clive Davis was able to do with Whitney Houston in America and to the rest of the world, like as an exec, like he probably deserves the greatest execs of all time for that.
You know what? And you're right. Like people, we know that from the different movies or what we see on television from the way she was portrayed. Like, Bobby said he brought in all the drugs and stuff. But the way you just explained that was like, you're right.
Like Whitney Houston is like a real motherfucker from Newark. This motherfucker was like a real hood motherfucker. And don't get me wrong, she had this unbelievable voice.
Yeah.
But like he was able to market her as America's sweetheart. And then when we saw who she was at the end of the day, minus the drugs, minus all of the stuff with her and her husband and Bob, shout out to Bob. Yeah. It's like she was a regular sister from the ghetto. And he sold her like the America's darling. And I just think that's incredible. Like that's impossible. You know what I mean? And
hit it for years that she was that way.
Yeah.
So that's dope. So when we're going to just stay in the California world, which we talk about the top 5 people who were instrumental to you, who are the rising California artists? Let's go back. First of all, let me give you your flowers. Like when I talked about your music is timeless itself. Period. Because I can always play it and be like, oh my God, I'm still over here trying to crip walk.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, that's it. I want you to feel crippy when you listen to it. I want you to be like, hey.
Yeah. I'm shuffling my little old feet on Gangsta Boogie. There you go. Right now.
There you go.
So who do you see as the top 5 up and coming artists out of California if you still have your ear to the streets?
I do. The guys that I'm working with, the LA Giants, I love those guys. And I'm giving them all of my abilities when it comes down to marketing, combined with their years and years in preparation. I'm a huge Blast fan. Blast, I don't know if he's still coming up. Is that fair to say? Because I think he don't have a lock on the whole world, but I'm definitely rooting for Blast. I'm still rooting for RJ. RJ is super important to me. You know what I mean? I think culturally he represents LA in a really dope way. Huge fan of Joe Moses. Joe Moses has been around for a while, but I think he still really never got his chance, and that's important for him to get his chance. And Kalen, for real. Like he's almost like family, you know what I mean? So I want the best things to happen for him, and everybody else too, but those are the first 5 that come to mind.
Okay, that's what's up. So also, you have touring coming up. Do you know what's your next stop or what's the plans for that?
So touring, we wait until the summer to do a national tour, but we're going to do something really new and just innovative. But when we do it, everybody will know. Right now, it's about residencies. We're building like this dope thing in Los Angeles where people can fly in and come to the concerts and it's something really dope. It's produced like a house party, but it's a concert and it's an experience for people. Like I want people to be able to talk to me when they come to see me perform. I want people to take in the culture of the album or my brand itself when they come to see me perform. I want people to be able to experience me and what I'm talking about and what I am about when they see me perform. I don't want to just go to Milwaukee and just hold my nuts on stage and then disappear into the night with $5,000. Like, no, I want you to really come out and shake hands and politic with me and see what make me tick. And I want to give you Los Angeles like in a way you've never had it before, to where you like, yo, I kind of get them niggas. I feel what they own. So right now it's about the residency, and that's in January. probably will be anywhere between 4 and 8 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But when the summer comes around and we start to tour, the way we're going to tour is really unique. You know what I'm saying? It's something that hasn't been done probably since like Dolomite. So we're pumped up about that shit, but it's going to be really different than anything you've seen so far.
Okay. Well, which we list your 3 songs off the project. Can you give us a sample? Not a sample, but tell us what type of sound all together will we hear from the project? Not all together, but individual. Like, what will we be hearing off your 17
Track
songs?
album. It's a West Coast boogie. I mean, it's a really good boogie. So it's super festive. It's super up tempo. It's super fun. The lyrics are funny. They do tackle societal issues and our perspective on them. The LA Giants is on 8 or 9 of the songs, so we definitely tackle a lot of things that we like and dislike in society. But we don't steal the joy of the music. It still goes with the festiveness of the music. So it's really funny. It's almost like a comedy album. I mean, there are serious topics and there's serious moments, but it's so much fun and so funny. It's free. It's somewhere that hip hop hasn't been in a very long time. You know what I mean? So it was just fun getting hip hop back into a place to where it was just fun and it was lighthearted, even though it's serious issues. You know what I mean? But we tackled them with a lot, of humor, a lot of joy, and it was fun. It's fun. And when you hear Cancel These Nuts, you know what I'm saying, you can hear how much fun it is and how, how West we are. You know what I mean? You could hear it, and it's something to really just get into and free your mind from the silliness of what's going on today everywhere.
I cannot say cancel these nuts without saying these nuts. I don't
Exactly.
know why.
And that's an oldie
So
to
I'm
Warren
trying
G, right? And that's an oldie to Warren G and Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and all of my predecessors and the legends that built up our hip hop scene. That song, These Nuts, and that joke, that's the whole festiveness of it. So we just, it very much does address cancel culture at times, but it also does it in a way that's fun and funny and a way that only the West can do it, in a way that only the West can do it.
Right on. So tell us where we can get the music.
TheCripStore.com. TheCripStore. TheCripStore.com. Come get an autographed copy, a vinyl, a CD, a USB cassette, not a cassette, but a cassette USB or just a cassette. Come buy an autographed copy. TheCripStore.com. Everywhere else
One
you listen to music too.
One thing I like about our interview is that it gives people the opportunity to see that you're not scary.
Not at all. Yeah.
You are not scary, but I definitely love the music because sometimes we have to see people to know that, he's a real dude just like me and he is somewhat approachable versus as we hear the music and everybody is scared, but
Nah,
that's just
man.
music.
One of the biggest things about this residency and how we want to do the concerts for Cancel These Nuts, we want to be held accountable. We're not ducking no fades.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Me and the LA Giants, we're not ducking no fades. We're not running from the problem. If LGBTQ people are offended by something we said, we'll sit down with Perez Hilton. We'll sit down with Jason Lee. We're not running from nobody. If you don't like what we said in the streets, we'll be on your street looking for you, and we could talk about it. You know what I mean? You're going to smell our cologne. So, yeah, it's like, yeah, we coming to be held accountable, and that's the true definition of gangster shit or masculinity in general. The desire to be held accountable and really face all of the whatever comes with this.
Right on. So Glasses, where can we find you on social media?
At Glasses Loc on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I've been really doing a tremendous job of posting there. You can find me at the Crip Store because that's where I'm at all the time. But on Glasses Loc on Instagram is probably the place I'm at the most outside of the Crip Store.
Okay, so like we see you visually and you're at the studio, how often are you actually in the studio putting it down, sharpening your craft?
Every day. It don't stop. It might not be a pen, it might be marketing today in the studio. I might be on a pen and paper writing down ideas of how to give people more content wrapped around the brand itself. You know what I mean? Making more fun and funny things for everybody. But I'm here all day, like face first, all the way in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? All the time.
So, you say with the pen, are you able to create music off the top of the dome, or do you have to sit there and you have to think about it and write it out? And do you write your own music?
Yeah, I don't write it down, but I think about it in my head and go and put the microphone or go in a booth and just say what I have to say. Um, so many ways, so many entry points when it comes to Glasses Malone making a record. I wish somebody else write this shit, but no, this definitely comes from me. But so many ways I have entries into making records. Like the list is, I'm 10 ways deep, and I could credit that to Lil Wayne and Birdman, that experience. Like I could credit some of my business acumen to Mac 10. You know what I mean? It's just
Ooh,
I'm,
for
I'm a
life.
I'm a built artist. I'm really a built artist. They really built me from just being a Crip drug dealer into becoming a hip hop elite. And I'm here now to prove that point that they all invested in.
Okay. Give us two things that we don't know about Glasses Malone that people will be shocked to know.
Oh, that's good. I'm huge. Well, I think people kind of know that I'm into drag racing, so I won't say that. Uh,
Do you have
I'm a
your own
huge fan
car?
of Stranger Things.
Okay,
Like
I
I
like
think
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things translate into real life, even this gangster shit and all this hip hop shit too. So I'm a huge, huge fan of Stranger Things. Like huge, like almost in a biblical sense.
Mhm.
Like I've watched the seasons multiple times. And every day I drink tea, hot tea.
Okay, why the hot tea?
To keep my body regulated, to regulate so many different things in my body, you know what I mean? Everything. So I drink tea probably 2 to 3 times a day. Hot
Okay.
tea.
I want to what you said drag racing, but I just have to know because when I think California, I think about hitting the switches. Do you
Mhm.
have a car where you're able to pull up and you hitting the switches and you just bouncing?
I do. I mean, everybody from LA has a lowrider,
Oh,
or they
okay.
ain't from LA.
Okay. Oh,
So you can tell them I said that. If a rapper say that they don't have a lowrider, say Glasses said you're not from LA.
right.
And if they say something funny after that, I'm gonna get on their bitch ass for not having a lowrider.
And you know what? Which I'm gonna say this part, which you kind of miss. I like the way you inspire people. So you need to leave us with some words of inspiration before we get ready to go.
Just regular people. Find some, practice some discipline. Find something to discipline yourself. Discipline is underrated. You know what I mean? Discipline is underrated. Find something that you really want and take it from yourself. And you will just notice how much better of a human being you'll be, how much more powerful you'll feel when it's all said and done.
Okay. Is there anything else that we haven't covered on Access Unlock the show that you want us to know about your new project?
It's available at thecripstore.com. Like my
Okay.
music is really still so good. I think it's worthy to sell. So it's available at thecripstore.com. Some of these guys' music is bad. So I understand why they're not selling it. My music is good. So I'm selling it still at thecripstore.com. So come buy a copy.
Okay. Now, I can't shut it down. You just said some people music is and you know what? I agree. See, I'm worried because I can understand your music. That people not saying they wouldn't like it, they would love it. But this music today, I'm like, what did they just say?
It's
So I'm
music is
confused
not
on what happened to hip hop.
well, music, hip hop, music changed to what you see and not what you heard. Like it
That
was
is true.
always the culture, but we used to rely on our ears more than our eyes. Now today we rely on our eyes more than our ears because of the mediums we digest content through, right? It used to be the
Right.
radio, it used to be the party, it used to be, cars passing by. Now it's on Instagram, now it's on TikTok, now it's on Twitter, now it's on Facebook. We see it all the time. That's really what's changed. So the audio portion isn't as important as what you see. The audio portion doesn't become as important till you get deeper into the catalog or into that artist themselves. But now that's the huge difference. So when you like stop listening and look, and you'll see what you're missing.
Right on. Okay, and I promise this is my last question. Do you think, which a lot of artists don't think that voting is important? We got to touch the politics a little bit or the politics. Is voting important?
I mean, if you feel it's important, if you believe white people are going to do right by you, then yes, it's important.
Already.
If you trust white folks to do right by you, then yes, voting is important. So it depends on if you trust or distrust white folks. Okay. I don't trust white folks, so I don't vote.
Right. Oh, okay. But anyway, I think everything comes first. You got to deal with your community first. So
even then, they white folks, well, at least in LA, because when I get everywhere else, y'all do have black people in power. So I think for sure y'all should be voting. If you got other people that's from the community in power, vote. But if we're talking about elections that don't have people that come from your communities and it's not about your specific community, that's if you trust white folks or if you don't trust white folks.
Okay. And give us the name of your 3 projects that's off the Cancel These Nuts.
The songs themselves that I truly enjoy: Cancel These Nuts, the intro song, A Tale of Whitney's Plug, which tells the story of what happens to drug dealers. You know, we just hear what happens to addicts and fiends like Whitney Houston, but there is this traumatic story that happens to drug dealers as well.
What is your take on that? Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, it's on the album. It's on Cancel These
Nuts.
So
they got to get the album, go to the Crib Store to understand what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's on YouTube and all that, but go to the Crib Store and buy it. But Tell of Whitney's Plug is another song. And then The Loke. The Loke is super dope, and I pushed it, and it's a single because it just finds me in really dope rapping places like a lot of my predecessors. Big Daddy Kane, MC Ren, Chubb Rock, these really dope guys. Kumo D, who rapped on super fast up-tempo music. And I'm really impressed and grateful with myself for even choosing and embarking on such a challenge and succeeding at it.
I used to love me some Kumo D.
Hey, niggas shit go up, man, and they should be super fun and festive. Shout out to Heavy D, rest in peace. He was another one that used to be rocking on that festive shit, and you know that's what I love about The Loke. So The Loke would be my third.
Okay, that's what's up. Well, I definitely thank you for coming on to Access Unlock, the show with your girl Kaye TheTruth. Make sure y'all go to thecripstore.com and get Cancel These Nuts. Hey. And follow Glasses Malone at Glasses Loke.
Yep,
on
LLC.
All social media.
That is.
And I truly, truly thank you. And I have enjoyed you on the show. And I can't wait for you to come back. And we're out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're not dealing with Kaye, it ain't the truth.
You are tuned in to Access Unlock, the show with your girl Kaye TheTruth. Visit us at www.accessunlock.com for more information on news and entertainment. And we're out.